I think one has to be really careful about manufacturing or using a crisis for some sort of distraction. Suella Braverman is clearly on a roll on this. Not only is she talking about the migrants coming across the channel, she's now talking about grooming groups of Pakistani men. Now, yeah, there is some research from Rotherham, the Rotherham child sexual abuse case, the J report, Operation Augusta, and so on. But it's not really very conclusive that the grooming gangs are predominantly Pakistani. In fact, the evidence suggests that much of the sexual abuse that goes on is by white men, not by Pakistani men. 92% of defendants in sexual abuse cases are white. So we have to be really careful that we don't perpetuate a sort of racist myth and sound like we've rewritten chapters from A Passage to India by E.M. Forster. Suella Braverman wants to divert attention from the failures of the government to sort out housing, to sort out the NHS, to sort out schools. And what you've got is a cynical scapegoating of minority groups, whether these be Pakistani groups, Kurdish groups, migrants crossing the channel. It's a blame game. And in the end, we have to ask, well, how can a government that has been in power for so long have failed to get to grips with housing, the NHS, with schools, and feels it so necessary to blame small pockets in our society, particularly the vulnerable and the recently arrived? I think we have to be very careful, and I think we have to be cautious about stoking up fear and stoking up bigotry. But it's not just Suella Braverman yesterday who came out with this, it's also the Prime Minister. And oddly, they both said almost exactly the same thing, so they're working from a script. This isn't something which they have considered, this is something they have learnt, and they are parroting. I wish we could get back to the days when political discussion, political interview was about thoughts and about policies, rather than the parroting of slogans that have been learnt the night before. If we want actors and if we want performing seals, then frankly we should either go to the theatre or to the circus. I don't think this is the role of our ministers, to parrot slogans that they have learnt.